a sunny morning in the Algarve, and most people head to the beach, but it's January and it's cold. And so I'm here instead because in this area on the Sagres Peninsula, as you can see from the sign behind me, there are megalithic monuments. Let's explore.
The Menhirs of Milrei and Padrão are two sets of standing stones located in Portugal's Algarve. They're in the western part of the Algarve, in the municipality of Vila do Bispo. They're centered on the hill of Milrei to the southeast of Vila do Bispo.
Unfortunately, the damaged state of this sign just indicates the state these monuments are. These are the Menhirs of Milrei, and they're centered on this hill, which is called the Hill of Milrei, and they're located all around, but they've been fallen over, toppled over, and moved from their original locations. You can still see some of them on a hiking trail, and let's find them, but they're not quite as monumental as the sign indicates.
Turning from the geodetic marker on the top of Milrei Hill to face the ocean, you can see where the hiking trail leads off from the road. This hiking guide is really the only thing that shows where these menhirs are. There's a location that shows each menhir, and this hiking guide shows 4 of them along the route. There's one of them is the Menhir of Padrão, that's this one along the road. We'll get to that later in this video. These 3 along the hike are the fallen menhirs of Milrei.
The hiking trail leads on from the geodetic marker down towards the ocean. And as you're walking along, keep your eyes peeled, because it's entirely possible that you're going to see some of the megalithic menhirs on the way.
This first menhir lies in the grass between the trail and the road. It's about 1.5 meters long and was shaped into a cylindrical form. This menhir is actually not on the hiking map. There's another one further away on the other side of the trail, which we'll get to later.
This may not look like much, and you may say, John, why are you here sitting on a stone that's lying in a field? This isn't a monument. And it may not look like much, and the cars going past don't even consider this. But this stone, thousands of years ago, was carved by people like us. They shaped the stone. They placed it here or somewhere in this vicinity for a purpose that we can only guess at. Was it a territorial marker? Maybe. Was it an astronomical site that tracked the solstice and sunrise and sunset? It's possible. Was it part of a temple? Could be. Was it a gathering point for the community to come and have celebrations and ceremonies and things? That's possible too. We don't know, and we may never know. And the fact that it's lying in a field diminishes some of its monumentality, but just being here in the presence of something that people built, shaped, made thousands of years ago, and in a place that had significance for them, gives us a connection to our ancient ancestors who lived in this territory that is now Portugal.
We're going to see more fallen menhirs, but keep watching. Just a short distance from here is the standing menhir of Padrão, and we'll see that very soon. It's about 300 meters down the hiking trail to the next menhir. While you're walking along, think about our Neolithic ancestors shaping and placing these stones in this area. There was a significance to it, which may not be obvious now, but we certainly can enjoy the sunshine and the gorgeous views down to the Atlantic Ocean. As you reach this bend, turn and look up the hill. Just up there is another menhir.
This might look like just a couple of stones in a farmer's field, but you can see that they've been shaped and smoothed.
A short way further along the trail, and you come to a fenced-off area.
It's not much of a fence, but it's a marker of territory. This whole area is part of a preserve. It's the Southwest Alentejano Cabo São Vicente Nature Reserve. It's parkland, more or less. So as you're walking through this, do be aware that this is a kind of a protected area. If you meet a fence, respect it. A property owner has demarcated their property limits. But if you haven't, you should be free to walk around. Just don't leave any rubbish and take care, etc. And be careful of the dogs and the other animals that might be around here. According to the map, somewhere behind me in this scrub, there's another menhir. It's not behind a fence, so I could go to it, but you can hear there's some dogs out here that are going nuts, and they're not tied up. I don't have a stick with me to ward them off, so I'm going to retreat back. There may be a menhir back here somewhere.
Back to the top of the hill where our first menhir was. Look off to the east, and you can see the remaining stone about 100 meters away. A short walk straight down the hill takes you to our final Menhir of Milrei. This is a huge stone, at least 2 meters long. The surface shows grooves and gouges. If we only knew the long history of this stone, what a tale it could tell.
Again, you might ask, why climb into the middle of this farmer's field to see this stone? But again, this is not a naturally shaped stone. This has been smoothed by human beings thousands of years ago. Was it stood up here? Was it up on the hilltop? It's hard to say. And why did they do it? We don't know. But standing here, in the presence of this object, lets us get in touch again with the people who lived here thousands of years before us, before the land was like this at all. It's a piece of prehistory that we can see and touch and experience. And you get to enjoy the countryside.
When you visit any place with menhirs, whether fallen or standing, try to imagine the perspective of the people who put them here. What made this place special?
If you want to see a really monumental menhir here, you need to come down the road below the hill of Milrei towards the ocean, because along this road stands the Menhir de Padrão. This is one menhir, the only one still standing in this region. It's one of about 20 that formed a cromlech back in the day.
This is the Menhir of Padrão, or more formally, Menhir number 1. It was re-erected after excavations in the 1980s. It stands as the only re-erected stone in the entire region.
The sign says that this menhir is about 2.2 meters tall. I'm about 2 meters, so that sounds about right. And you can see there are some faint carvings at the top here, which is a kind of a decoration that's not uncommon for menhirs in this area. And you can see examples of that at the museum in Vila do Bispo.
This truly is an impressive menhir and worth admiring in its own right. But it is part of a group, potentially a stone circle or cromlech. Can we find any of the others?
I've moved cross-country away from the Menhir de Padrão to see if I can find any other menhirs. I haven't crossed any fences, so I'm assuming this is okay. If any farmer comes and complains that I'm in his field, I'll apologize profusely. But as it's a good reminder that if you're visiting these places and out in the countryside, please be respectful of property owners, be respectful of the sites themselves, look out for animals and take care, pick up any litter and don't leave anything behind, look after the areas, look after the people around you, and they will be happy for you to visit and happy for others to visit. Thanks. You can see the Menhir de Padrão is behind me there. I've come out into the field beyond to see if I can see if there's any sign of the cromlech. There's lots of stones in this field, but nothing much that looks like a menhir until I've come to this one here. And this might have been the menhir. You can see somebody's put a modern day cross marking into it. My hunch is this is one of the menhirs of the cromlech of Padrão.
This is much smaller than the first one, but it's similarly conical. Were they all like that? Was that significant here? There are others that can be seen in the museum in Vila do Bispo. Those are broken, so it's hard to tell if they were conical too.
In one of his research papers, archaeologist Mário Varela Gomes describes finding a menhir number 9 in the Padrão cromlech. You can see number 1 back there. He said this one was about 250 meters away, which should be around in this area. There's lots of stones around me here, but I can't see anything that looks like a menhir. Near as I can tell, if he's accurate, it's somewhere in this vegetation.
Gomes wrote that this menhir was found fallen on a burial chamber covered in stones. He included a drawing of it reconstructed, standing above the burial mound. What a sight that would have been.
Without the archaeologist's direct knowledge and expertise, I'm not going to be able to find it. But for me at least, it's interesting to stand here surrounded by these places. In the background you can see the hill of Milrei where the other menhirs were found. That this had significance for people thousands of years ago. For what purpose? We're not sure. For me at least, it's satisfying enough to be walking around in this terrain that was significant to our ancestors thousands of years ago and takes me to some interesting quiet fields here in the far corner of Portugal's Algarve.
I hope you're enjoying this tour of the Menhirs of Milrei and Padrão. I've got one more little treat for you, but first, please click like and leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think about visiting mostly fallen menhirs.
Now, if you want a little secret that the sign won't tell you, and the people in the house next door probably won't tell you, but across the street from the Menhir de Padrão, there's a small little menhir. So let's head up the road and find it.
It's literally just up the road and across from the house. It's another conical menhir, about a half a meter long.
The people whose house is across the road from this, I'm sure know that this is a menhir, but most people who drive by will ignore it. It's definitely been shaped by human hands. It's a tiny little thing. You could call it a mini menhir.
Thanks for watching.